Good day, everyone. Let us now proceed on our last two topics in life and works of Rizal. These are choosing Rizal as our national hero and symbol, and Jose Rizal's life values. So without any further ado, let's start our discussion. For the introduction, as of the moment, Dr. Jose Rizal is included as one of the unofficial national symbols. So do you believe that before Jose Rizal became our national hero, there are lots of credentials are needed for the court and of course for the government in order for him to be approved as our national hero. But for many Filipinos, his life and writings raised him to the qualifications of being our hero and as part of our national symbols. But because of the Filipinos who have witnessed his greatness, all of his works and all of his sacrifices from his time, the government allowed him to be our national hero. So for the discussion, we have Teodoro Agoncillo and Renato Constantino. Those are two prominent persons who contributed in proving that Jose Rizal deserves to be our national hero. According to Teodoro Agoncillo, Jose Rizal is acceptable as our national hero because he is the symbol of assimilation. And according to Renato Constantino, he mentioned that there are lots of reasons for Jose Rizal to be a national hero, but he gave three main reasons. The first one is Jose Rizal already passed away at that time the Americans began their occupation or aggression in the Philippines. Second, there was no single word of embarrassment or any anti-American quotation that could ever be attributed to Jose Rizal. Lastly, Jose Rizal's martyrdom already made him the symbol of Spanish oppression. Dr. Jose Rizal and his fellow propagandists had written numerous realizations on how Spanish managed the Philippines. So we are all aware the different hardships and sacrifices that our fellow Filipinos or our fellow countrymen from the past life, how much they sacrifice and how much they are willing to fight for our country. The time when we are already being manipulated by the Spaniards. The Spaniards became greedy with our wealth and of course with power, the reason why we are being managed in a way more negative strategy. Next, Jose Rizal wrote two novels, The Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Then Rizal wrote essays for La Solidaridad. It is a periodical that circulated in Spain and promoted liberal ideas such as on the indolence of the Filipino and the Philippines lived in century, and printed an annotated edition of Antonio de Morga's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. So this is actually the summary of the different works and the different travelogues of Jose Rizal from his time in order to prove, or actually these are credible proofs for Jose Rizal to be worthy enough as our national hero. Jose Rizal's heroism was always commemorated every 30th of December. So, every December 30, Jose Rizal or Rizal's Day, is always celebrated. So, from that moment, it is already legalized. It was already stated that one holiday in the Philippines must be given to our national hero, which is Dr. Jose Rizal. The memorial started by General Emilio Aguinaldo. He issued a decree on December 20, 1898, announcing the date December 30 not only as the date of his death, but also a national day of mourning. El Heraldo de la Revolucion issued on December 25, 1898 by the Club Filipinos, which coincide with the unveiling of the Rizal monument in the town of Daet, Camarines Norte. On February 1, 1902, the Philippines Commission enacted Act No. 345, which set December 30 of each year as Rizal Day and made it one of the 10 official holidays in the Philippines. So that is how our national hero nowadays is considered to be Dr. Jose Rizal. Now let's move forward to Jose Rizal's life values, his perpetual legacy. So throughout his life, Jose Rizal showcased the virtues and values of being a Filipino. So we have here the different characteristics that are being possessed and strengthened by our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, which is also the best characteristics that a real Filipino or a real full-blooded Filipino must possess. The first one is love of God, or strengthening our devotion and faith with our Creator. The Mercado family was a devout Catholic. Yes, the Rizal's family, as we all remember way back on the story that we have read about his life, his family is a devoted Roman Catholic. When he left for his studies abroad, Rizal assures his mother of his trust in God. So, as he wandered every day towards his life, he always put God's first in everything he did. And in that case, that is when his mother is always proud of him. Also, when his sister Olympia died, Jose Rizal marked that they put and rest everything in the will of God. So this shows how faithful Jose Rizal is. So in spite of the different struggles and hardships that they experience within their life, they never ever forget to ask God's help, and they never let those negativities take them away from their faith. Second, nationalism and patriotism. Due to his great admiration for the country, his ideas and philosophies encourage so many others to always show and manifest their desire for a sustainable nation building. So his love for our country is really overwhelming, whereas he is willing, or it came to the point that he is willing to sacrifice everything he have just for the sake of the justice of our fellow men and for our country, the Philippines. Next, we have courage. His moral courage to do what is only best for the Filipinos and securing the welfare of the citizens in order to keep their trust and love for the nation. Of course, although he did not fight using any weapons such as gun, sword, etc., any deadly weapons, he fight for our country using pen and paper. And in that case, we can deny the fact that he is indeed a strong one, for he fought for the independence of our country using his words. Actually, that is way more dangerous. For using his writings, he tried to show the fact and what is real behind the governance, or the negative or the wrong governance of the Spanish colonization from our country. And also, those writings and those books he had created contains a lot of explicit words that may lead him to danger, but he never think about his own self. Rather, he became selfless and saved our country. So, for the conclusion, our lesson in history tells us how genuine Jose Rizal was as a man, and of course, as a hero. So, if I ask you a question, do you think Jose Rizal is worthy enough for us, or worthy enough to be considered as our national hero? As far as I can think, and as far as I have reached about his life history, And at the end of this course, upon knowing his story, hardships, and all the sacrifices he had, he really deserves to be our national hero. Like Andres Bonifacio, Jose Rizal is not explicitly proclaimed as a national hero, but Filipinos paid him tribute and recognized his achievements for the country. Understanding the context of the situation of the Filipinos and the Philippines during the Spanish colonization is one of the best keys to explain Jose Rizal's importance to the nation. So I hope you learned something. That is all our lesson about. Thank you for listening.